Steve is going to open us up with his opening review. So, Steve, tell us how you felt about Hugo.
Well, I went in. I took my older daughter. Sorry, one of my kids. I don't know.
You did.
As we learned last week, Steve doesn't like them, so it doesn't matter. Interchangeable.
No, I took my older daughter to see it because I was thinking it was going to be a kids movie, and it wasn't really a kids movie. She still enjoyed it, but it wasn't as much of a kids movie as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and I agree with that sentiment.
But I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
I thought it was. It was. I don't know. I loved it from beginning to end.
You don't want to say it.
I'm not going to say it. No.
Say it.
I don't think it's better than 50-50. But I do think it was amazing. At that final scene when he's standing and they're finally giving him recognition, I was like bawling. I was like, Emma, don't look at me. It was awful.
I was glad I was only one of 7 because I was doing the same thing.
Yeah. I got something in my eye.
Breathing heavy.
Yeah. It was absolutely beautiful movie. You know, every shot. I noticed that there was so much attention to detail. Like, he keeps looking through the number 4, and there's 4 letters in Hugo's name. There's 4s just all over the place. There's the quartet that keeps popping up. Just 4. The number 4 is like everywhere. And I was
Scorsese and probably at least Brian Selznick, who's the original author of this book, I feel like that there's definitely some symbolic significance.
Yeah,
that's not just an accident.
Yeah, I figured I was trying to connect it to something. I couldn't quite get there, but I know it's important. I just don't know why.
Yeah, somebody tell us.
I thought when it comes to 3D, I saw this in 3D. Oh, yeah, this is the best I've ever seen 3D done. It was amazing. This is if every movie used 3D this way, I would be totally fine with it.
When the opening shot with the snow.
And then going through the crowds, I was like,
"How do you do that?"
This is what 3D is supposed to be. This is how you use 3D to give not to come out of the screen.
Subtlety of that.
To give depth,
to the scene. Yeah, he used it like what's his name, the hack for Avatar. James Cameron said he was going to use it as lighting. Right. That's how this movie used it.
Cameron understands what he's doing with 3D, but he's not as skilled a storyteller as Scorsese. So Cameron was like, I can do some cool stuff with 3D. And he did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Scorsese was like, this could technically do some things in,
and be used to tell a story.
Right.
He made it instead of like a spectacle, he made it use the 3D.
Brian, how did
I feel about the 3D?
Or just the movie, because we clearly, at least, we love it.
One thing I saw with the 3D was that it looked, in scenes, like when they were in the house, it looked like a stage play.
Yeah.
The way that it was shot, the way that the characters were on the screen, it looked like I'm in a theater watching a stage play. Yeah. So it just, I really enjoyed visually the way it looked. I loved it.
Yeah.
Everyone was phenomenally acting in this movie.
This reminded me big time why Ben Kingsley is such a good actor, because I feel like for a while he's been taking like crap roles and just whatever he wants to do.
Prince of Persia,
that was
Blood Rain,
Money Man.
No, he hasn't made a good movie since
Uwe Boll decided he's on speed.
House of Sand and Fog. He's just like, I need money. Maybe he has gambling debts. I don't know. But he obviously needed.
Now, Metropolis was the first silent film you've ever seen, right?
It was, and I was amazed. Yeah. Like you said, they were still able, through, you call it pantomime, I called it just over gesturing. That's what. Yeah. After a while, when I first started to see it, I started laughing a little bit, and then I'm like, well, how else are they going to do it?
Yeah.
They can't keep cutting to a text screen where they're telling you what they're saying all the time. You've got to be able to see it in the person and look at their facial expressions and look at how they're standing and get the story from that. And that coupled with the scope of the scenery, the size of the scenery on some of these things, I was amazed.
Yeah.
I'm going,
this is 1927.
Huge. Right.
Yeah.
This is the most...
Didn't we just finish a war and you guys did this?
This is the most expensive sound film ever made.
Oh,
either this or...
No, Wikipedia says this was.
This was?
I looked it up.
Yes. It's got to be true then.
It's got to be true. It's on Wikipedia.
I was thinking this or A Birth of a Nation was pretty expensive if you've never seen that.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Because that has like an entire battle. But this is
it's
definitely
racist,
up there.
so
Yeah. No, it's not. Ku Klux Klan saves the USA. That's not racist. From the black people. What's racist about that? Yeah.
This movie is the reason Germany started World War II.
Yeah.
It's going to cost them so much money.
No money. Yeah. No, it's fascinating to me because you're right. This is the most expensive. I'm pretty sure it's either this one or. But I've seen this. I've seen The Birth of a Nation, Nosferatu, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
What was the Charlie Chaplin one we watched?
We watched City Lights. City Lights. Which is really interesting. City Lights was after movies and sound had been combined. So it was a good 4 or 5 years after it. Everybody wanted to watch sound, and Charlie Chaplin was like, no, I'm going to make a silent film.
Okay.
And what else is interesting is this year, the first time in a long time, a silent film is coming out called The Artist. Which is getting a lot of Oscar buzz.
There was already one that came out a couple of years. It was last year, I think. Actually, one was called Louis. It was a silent film.
Yeah,
it was. I think it was using a lot of jazz music. I think it might have been like a young Louis Armstrong or something. They were trying to make a movie about. I mean, in all intents and purposes, you could say that WALL-E was for the majority of it was a silent film.
It was definitely a tribute to silent film.
Yeah,
or Castaway.
Castaway, yeah.
I mean, there was dialogue in the beginning, dialogue at the end, and I don't know if you'd call dialogue with a volleyball dialogue. But,
yeah.
But that was 2.5, 3 hours, and there were solid chunks where you had to watch the actor and watch the scenery.
Hugo or Full Metal Jacket?
Ooh.
Sorry, Nate.
Hey, what do you think of this one?
I'm there's always one in the group. I'm the Kubrick fan, so I'm the guy who always has to get up on a soapbox.
I like Kubrick.
You hate him. Yeah, we do have a soapbox.
We do have a soapbox.
We do have a soapbox that we sit on. How do you feel about like Full Metal Jacket? Because we talked about a lot of Kubrick stuff all the time, so I'm curious to see what your opinion is, Kevin.
I'm kind of I'm on the fence with him. Some movies I really like. Some I'm kind of going, I could have done something better with an hour and a half. But specific to these two movies, wow, that's tough. I'm actually going to have to say Full Metal Jacket, just because, and this kind of goes back to the reason why I like to see movies. It's just the larger-than-life setup. I mean, just the scale of it. It was amazing, and the acting was very good in both. So that's I have to say.
Although a lot of the actors in Full Metal Jacket never went anywhere.
No,
which is interesting.
One guy was in Law and Order, but
Law and Order.
Matthew Modine never did anything. What a career! No, he's actually an amazing
Vincent
actor.
D'Onofrio is awesome.
He's very, very good. Yeah,
Whole Wide World is amazing movie.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's about the guy who wrote the Conan stories.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that would be cool.
It's an amazing movie.
I'm gonna have to
Renee Zellweger, I think.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna have to side with Kevin just because I think Full Metal Jacket is one of the best war films ever made. I love it from start to finish.
All right, it's time to sway Kevin onto our side, Steve.
Okay.
I actually think Hugo's better because I think Full Metal Jacket's half a movie.
There we go.
We were waiting for this.
Do you know how big the circuit breaker is? How many amps?
I do not.
We've thought about rewiring.
I want to rewire this because it's just like
a
single wire coming out from the.
Nate, stop looking over there.
Attic.
There is something like blinking.
Stop looking over there, Nate. The lights are gonna turn on.
Look away from the lights.
No, I'm serious. What if that's blinking behind the lights?
I don't see anything.
He's trying.
There's something blinking behind those lights.
You're insane, man.
light that was going like blink, blink,
Maybe
blink,
that's
blink.
the outside.
Yeah.
Somebody's Christmas lights across the street.
I don't think we have a hole in